Let the tears flow, my sister. I am right here. We will face this together. I beg you, gods of my fathers, let this child be born strong.
Corridors that once echoed with laughter now held whispers. Servants walked faster. Guards avoided eye contact. And at night, no one stayed out because something moved in the darkness. It started with a maid, one of the palace girls, young, hardworking, always smiling. One night, she was sent to fetch water. She never returned. At first, they thought she had run away. But then, another servant disappeared. Then another. No bodies, no signs, no explanation. Just gone. The villagers began to whisper, "This is not normal. The land is angry." "No," an old man said quietly. "This is not the land. This is something else." Inside the palace, Njideka ruled with quiet control. She made decisions swiftly. Punishments became harsher. Anyone who questioned her authority was dealt with, silenced, and no one dared to ask what happened to them after, because deep down, everyone knew. They didn't want the answer. Every night, when the palace slept, Njideka left her chambers, moving silently, like a spirit, through the gates, beyond the orange trees, back to the evil grove. But this time, she was not going as a student. She was going as something else. Nneka stood waiting. "You are progressing." Njideka no longer trembled. "I can feel it. The power is growing." Nneka nodded. "But power," she said slowly, "must be fed." Njideka's eyes darkened. "I know." Those who disappeared were not lost. They were taken, offered, sacrificed. Each life strengthening the darkness, each soul binding Njideka deeper into it, until there was almost nothing human left in her. But not everyone was blind. Obinna watched. He listened. He remembered. The death of his brother, the fall of his father, and now the silence, the fear, the disappearances. One night, he turned to his mother. "Mother," Adaku looked at him gently. "Yes, my son?" Obinna hesitated, then whispered, "Something is wrong in this palace." Adaku froze because she knew he was right. That night, Adaku could not sleep. The dreams returned, her dead child, standing, watching. This time he did not cry. He pointed, not to the forest, but to the palace. And then he spoke. One word. Her. Adaku woke up screaming, her body shaking, her heart racing, because now she understood. Njideka stood outside her door, listening, smiling, because she knew the truth was getting close. And she also knew she was ready. Back in the evil grove, Nneka looked into the fire. The flames twisted unnaturally. "The boy," she whispered, "he is beginning to see." Njideka's face hardened. Then he will become a problem. Nneka smiled slowly. Not yet, but soon. Her voice dropped into darkness. Very soon. Far away, Obinna stood by the window, looking into the night, and for the first time, he felt it. Not fear, but something deeper. Destiny. The palace slept, but Queen Adaku did not. Her body lay still, but her spirit was restless. The dream came again, stronger this time, clearer. She found herself standing in a place she knew too well, the burial ground, the same place they laid her child to rest. The air was cold, the sky was dark, the orange trees stood still, as if time itself had stopped. Then she heard it, a soft cry, not loud, not painful, but calling. Mother. Adaku's breath caught. She turned slowly, and there, standing near the small mound of earth, was her son. He looked the same, small, fragile, innocent, but something was different. His eyes held knowledge no child should have. Adaku fell to her knees, tears rushing down her face. My son, my child, is it truly you? The child did not smile. He only looked at her. Then, slowly, he raised his hand and pointed. Mother. His voice echoed strangely, like it was coming from far away, and yet right beside her. She is the darkness. Adaku's heart pounded. Who is? The child's finger did not move. It pointed toward the palace. Then he spoke again. She took me. Adaku's body trembled. What are you saying? The child's face slowly changed, not into something monstrous, but something sad, knowing she will take more. Then, suddenly, the wind rose violently, the ground began to shake, and the child's voice echoed one last time. Save him! Adaku screamed, Who? But the child vanished, and she woke up. Adaku sat upright, gasping for air, sweat covering her body. Her heart pounded like a drum. This was no ordinary dream. This was a message, and deep inside her spirit, she knew the truth. Njideka. At that same moment, in another chamber, Obinna woke up suddenly, like something had touched him. He stood up slowly. Who is there? Silence. Then again, run. The voice sounded familiar, too familiar. Brother. But there was no answer. From that night, everything changed. Adaku was no longer just grieving. She was searching, watching, listening. She began to visit the elders secretly. What do you know about spirits that do not rest? The elders exchanged glances. One of them spoke carefully. When a soul returns, it means something was done, something that must be undone. Adaku's voice shook. What if the one who did it is inside the palace? Silence fell, because they all knew what that meant. Njideka stood in her chamber, still. Then suddenly, she turned, like she heard something or felt something. Her eyes narrowed. The air has changed. That night, she rushed to the evil grove. Ineka was already waiting. You feel it, don't you? Njideka nodded. Something is wrong. The queen, she is beginning to see. Ineka's expression darkened. And the child? Njideka hesitated. The boy, Obinna, he is changing. The witch turned toward the fire. That is not good. Ineka's voice became serious. The dead child has crossed over. Njideka froze. What do you mean? It is no longer silent. It is guiding them. Njideka's breathing became uneven. Then we must stop it. Ineka held her head slowly. You cannot stop a spirit, but her eyes glowed faintly. You can silence the living. Njideka understood immediately. Obina. Back in the palace, Obina stood alone, looking at his reflection. But something felt different. He was no longer just afraid, he was aware. And deep inside him, something was waking up. Not power like Njideka's, but something older, something chosen. That night, as the wind blew through the orange trees, two forces began to rise. The darkness and something meant to fight it. In the evil grove, Njideka spoke with deadly calm. If the boy must die, then it will be done. And far away, in the shadows of the palace, a small voice whispered again, "Save him."
There comes a time when silence becomes a sin, and truth must stand in the open, even if it burns everything. The sun rose slowly over the kingdom, but there was no peace in its light. The air was tense, heavy, because word had spread. The elders had been summoned, the chiefs had been called, the people were gathering. Something was about to happen, something the kingdom would never forget. Queen Adaku stepped into the village square, dressed in pure white, not as a queen of comfort, but as a woman ready for war. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with truth. Behind her stood Omego, still shaken, still afraid, but ready. And beside her, young King Obina, watching, learning, becoming. Then she came, Queen Njideka, dressed in deep red, coral beads shining, her presence commanding. She walked slowly into the square. No fear, no shame, only power. The crowd parted for her, because even without knowing everything, they felt it. Something was wrong. The oldest elder stepped forward, his voice deep, heavy with authority. Why have we been called? Adaku stepped forward, her voice steady. Because evil sits on the throne of Umuoji. Gasps filled the air. All eyes turned towards Njideka. But she did not react. She only smiled. Adaku raised her hand, pointing directly at her. This woman is responsible for the death of my child. Murmurs spread. And the fall of the king. The crowd erupted. That is a lie. Impossible. A queen. Njideka finally spoke, her voice calm, almost amused. You accuse me. With what proof? Adaku turned. Omego. The guard stepped forward, his legs weak, but his voice determined. I followed her. Silence fell instantly. I saw the evil grove. Fear spread like fire. I saw the witch. Gasps. And I saw the rituals. The crowd stepped back. The sacrifices. Now, panic. Njideka laughed. A slow, cold, dangerous laugh. So, this is your proof? She stepped forward. A frightened man, telling stories of the dark. She turned to the elders. Will you condemn a queen based on fear? The elders hesitated. Because in Umuoji, truth required more than words. It required the spirits. The oldest elder raised his staff